Adam Chris from MyMMAnews.com, being joined by Brandon the Mechanic Cuttino, and he has taken on Anthony Dill at Gut Check Championship Series. It's going down June 18th in Hockessin, Delaware, streaming live on Fight Club Live TV. That's FCLTV.com. First and foremost, I got to thank my guest for joining me. Brandon, what's going on, brother? Just a couple days from fight night.
Yeah, man. Things are going well, man. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. Like I said, this has been a long time coming. Like I said, I haven't stepped in the ring, basically since 2019. So I'm really just itching to go. I kind of still have to like pinch myself to be like, oh man, like this is really about to happen. Like it looks like I'm really about to step into a ring and I'm about to throw down with somebody.
Now, with this being your first fight back in quite some time, as I understand, is with you finding it tough time to find fights, does this put any added pressure on you because you've been out of the ring for so long?
Now, well, I want like yes and no, but it's really no. It's really just the pressure that I put on myself because during that time I've gotten new fans. So people have never seen me fight before. So this is gonna be their first time ever watching me fight. And plus two, you kind of feel a little way where it's like, man, like I said, I'm here in New Jersey. People are gonna travel all the way to Delaware. So it's kind of like, man, you don't really want to give them a sour taste. But all in all, I know that no matter what happens, win or lose, they're gonna still like me. They're still gonna still be fans. They're still gonna care about me. So it's just one of those things where it really is at like there is a little bit of pressure, but that's just me putting it on myself. And then once I kind of sit back and really remember that the people are gonna love me no matter what, I'm kind of at ease at that.
Understandable. Now, you were originally slated to fight Gary Mack. He had to pull out of the fight. Now, Anthony Dill out of Algios MMA, he's stepping in. How does that affect your training entering this bout? Because they're two vastly different fighters.
Yeah, like the one good thing about it is that they're still left-handed. They're still southpaws, so that was kind of a good thing. And then plus two, Gary Mack is a little bit taller than Anthony Dill, so that really kind of changed my training partner. Like my original training partner was a teammate of mine, Jacob Guerrero. He's actually making his pro MMA debut the night before mine, up in Boston for I think Fury fighting, I think is the promotion or something like that. But so he was a tall guy, but then going from Gary Mack to Anthony Dill, then that made me change my partners to now I get to go work with UFC vet Julio Arce because he basically at the time in the gym he really was the only southpaw that we had on our team. So really, anytime somebody had a southpaw, Julio was the guy. But now we kind of have a couple of new guys on the team that are southpaws as well. So at least this time Julio, he kind of gets himself a break. But then once they kind of came with Anthony Dill, it was like, well, Julio's more his height. Let's have you go back with Julio. And of course, going with Julio is a different world in itself anyway. So it's kind of like, hey, if you can kind of hang with Julio, you could probably hang with really anybody else out there.
Understandable. Now, with you originally supposed to be fighting Gary Mack, and this will be the last I talk about that because obviously he's not your opponent. But with you originally being slated to fight him, when you was listening to your interview with my colleague, I just met Kyle. Sorry, it
Kyle.
was slipping my
Yeah.
set. Sorry, Kyle. When you were talking with Kyle, the almost like the sixth degree of separation, it came about with me with you sharing a common opponent with Gary Mack and Brima Kamara, who fought with Gut Check Championship Series, and Gary Mack and Brima Kamara just fought at Gut Check Championship Series. So was that almost like a full circle moment coming together and almost disappointment? Do you want that fight maybe down the road?
So to answer your second question, yes, I definitely I already told them that I would be down to fight Gary Mack again down the road. Like I said, I like after this fight, definitely plan on kind of enjoying myself just a little bit, but I know that they plan on having a show in September, so I would be down, for that fight. Come that time or maybe later on in October, depending on how things work out. But yeah, but also too, like I said, it is kind of crazy. But like I said, that was the reason how I kind of knew of Gary Mack because when they offered me the name, I was like, man, that name sounds familiar. And then it hit me. I was like, wait, yeah, I think that's the dude that Brima fought. So I looked it up, and I was like, yep, this is him. So so it just worked out. It just kind of worked out that way.
Understandable. Now, again, I'm going back to the long layoff, and you saying that it's tough for you to find fights. Now, with such accolades backing you, man, glory fighter. I mean, everything within your back pocket, you would think that people be lining up and itching to fight you, almost like take the pedestal off, off your name. Why do you think it's so tough for you to find fights?
Not even do if I knew if I knew I would have an answer for you, but I don't. Like that's the thing. Like I was saying, like I was thinking to myself before. It's like you would think that yeah, like hey, I kind of had that. I kind of do have that shine, from glory, but again, just nothing. Like I don't like I said, I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe because I'm a tall guy for my weight class or anything like that. So maybe people aren't trying to aren't trying to mess with that because again, it's not like I have a stellar like I don't mean like stellar as in like oh I have a lot of fights. I don't have a lot of fights. Like yes, I do have a good record. I have a above 500 record, but it's not like I have like 20 fights, 30 fights, 40 fights or anything like that. So I don't know what it is. It's like saying I would get promotions reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I want to fight. I want to get a fight for you. Just send me your information." Send them the information. Next thing I know, I hear crickets. I'm not hearing from anybody. And then I'd be like, "Hey, what happened?" And then I don't even hear back from them from that. And then it just like I said, it would be like, "Oh, hey, you do have somebody," but then something would come up where maybe like they didn't like the venue that we were gonna fight at. They wanted to fight somewhere else. So then it's like, all right, well, that fell through, or just a bunch of other stuff that was just going on.
Mm. Now, considering your opponent, Anthony, he's predominantly an MMA fighter. Does this make it harder for you to prepare for him? Because it's just a stand-up bout. Now, you haven't gotten much looks of him in in such a light. You've only been able to get the looks of him in MMA, where he's preparing to maybe get taken down at any given moment. So, does that make it a little bit harder to prepare for?
No, you know what? I mean, it does kind of seem where if you are trying to, find video on the guy to see kind of how he is standing up, just to kind of get a feel, like that kind of in a way does kind of stink. But in a way, it's like, well, majority of my teammates all do MMA, so it I guess I want to be like, nah, it really doesn't. Like I just know that I have to worry about me. If I worry about Anthony Dill, that's when I get in trouble. If I
Mm.
focus on me, that's when I know I usually have success. So I'm really kind of thinking about me. Like I was saying, he's an MMA striker. I'm a kickboxing striker. Gotta let him know there are two different worlds. There are levels to to the striking game. Like say you look at somebody in MMA. You look at Israel Adesanya. You look at Alex Pereira, or even just like a Max Holloway, who thinks that he's the best boxer out here. That there are just levels, but again, like you think about people who can box in MMA, but then they go try regular boxing, like a Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Hey, this is a different world out here. So that's all I'm just thinking to myself is like I just gotta let them know that hey, these are two different worlds. I get it. You want to get some experience standing up, but you're about to get it against the wrong guy.
Now, you have a fan base called the Tune Up Crew. Now, are they going to be out and are they going to be in abundance to support the mechanic on fight night?
Yes, yes, they are coming out. I'm so happy. I'm thrilled that, like I said, I I guess I'm always just humbled. I'm blessed that people want to come up and watch me fight. Like they want to travel. I'm always just thankful for it because, like I said, without the fans, promotions like that, like I want to say that's another reason too why I'm kind of shocked I haven't gotten fights because I'm not gonna lie, like because of the tune-up crew, I'm able to like sell tickets. Like I'm usually able to to pack a house. So you would think that a promotion would want that, but
That's
it
exactly
just
what
hasn't happened.
promoters want.
Yeah, but like I said, but I'm very thankful, for the tune-up crew. Like I said, I have people from all over the world that are itching to check it out. Because like I said, some people maybe can't make it there in person, but they tell me that they are going to stream it though. So I'm very happy about that.
I'm always excited to talk to a kickboxer or a Muay Thai athlete, and it's surely for this reason because I work for an MMA site. Now, we obviously cover multiple facets of combat sports, but at my heart, I grew up in the kickboxing gym as well. As a matter of fact, one of my main training partners back in the day was Brian McNamara. So, oddly enough, I love kickboxing, I love Muay Thai. But with that being said, I always like to get the perspective of a kickboxer, and I always wonder because there's not nearly as much attention on Muay Thai and kickboxing as there is on MMA right now. Now, when you see the generic public when they're at an MMA fight, and as soon as the fight hits the ground, what is the crowd yelling? Stand them back up. So, why isn't there not as much more popularity drawn on to kickboxing and stand up sports and more money bringing into the combat or kickboxing and Muay Thai sports? Because it is everything you want in an MMA fight in stand up.
Yep. You know what? This is a great question. This is actually a question that me and my co-host that I have. I actually do a kickboxing show
Mm,
with a gentleman named Tim Wheaton.
mm,
And this is actually a question that we had addressed. And really what we came up with were a couple of things. One thing is that, to me, I want to say that kickboxing doesn't have a promoter. Like, if you think about in MMA, think about the UFC. You got Dana White out there. You got Scott Coker out there for Bellator. Heck, man, the people in the PFL, they are out there basically always saying that they are the number two MMA brand. Like, even though we all know that they're like they might be number two on ESPN, but not in the world. But that's what they say. Even Chatri of One, like their guys are out there promoting them, talking to the websites, talking to the news outlets. While to me in kickboxing, the promoters are quiet. They're just putting on shows. They're just going about it like that way. Then also too, to me, really in kickboxing, I want to say is that we don't have enough, I want to say really Americans that are good at the sport. It's you I think you want to have other Americans that you can look behind and say, yeah, let's go. Because like saying there was time when Kevin Ross was making his name through, and you're like, that's somebody you can follow. But I think he just never caught on because at the time, I think there just wasn't that TV deal for you as well.
mm.
You need to have that TV deal where you can be seen. Like I said, when Glory was here in the States, they were on ESPN, but they were on ESPN3. And most people thought ESPN3 was a network, when no, it really was a website. So the thing was like you just didn't know where to watch it. So I think that's another thing, was that really they just wasn't getting the promotion that they needed. I think here in North America there aren't enough Americans that are good at it to really promote it. And then like I said, I think they just don't have a front man, somebody behind it that's really out there saying this is the best, these are the fighters and everything like that. Because again, you look at MMA, you look at boxing. Everybody wants to do that crossover where there's like, oh, I'm an MMA guy, I want to go to boxing, or I'm a boxing, I want to go MMA. But nobody ever wants to say they want to go to kickboxing. Why is that? Because they know kickboxing is a different world, and it probably really is of the striking arts. It's most like kickboxing and Muay Thai are really the hardest ones that nobody really wants to go that route.
I completely agree with you. And actually, you couldn't have answered that question any better. It actually answers the question for me. And now I feel like I have a sound answer. But so moving on with that, where do you feel, I'm going to start closing out, but where do you feel you have the advantage against Anthony Dill in this fight?
Really, of course, man. If you want to talk physical advantages, I have the reach. I'm sure, like I say, he's 5'9", I'm 6'1". I'm gonna have the long arms and long legs. But also, too, I really want to say I have the experience as well. Like I said he's mostly, he has done fights, but he's mostly done MMA fights. He hasn't done kickboxing fights. There's different. It's different than being in the cage, being in a ring. I know because, like I said, I train with a lot of MMA guys. We have a cage, we have a ring. When they're getting ready for their fights, and I'm sparring with them, I hop in the cage. I know it's different because it's different angles. You got your 6 sides or 8 sides or 10 sides depending on what ring, what cage you're in. And then in a ring, you got your 4 squares, different angles. So I want to say that I have that on him as well. And then of course we talked about him earlier. Tune up crew. I think I'm gonna have the support. I'm saying he might be closer to Delaware, than I am. But like I said, the tune up crew is coming out. I'm gonna have that support. It's gonna feel like I'm home. and I'm gonna definitely use their energy to help me during this fight.
Can I get a bold prediction out of you?
Man, bold prediction. You know what, man? Like I said, I'm happy that he's taking this fight, but like I said, like I talked to your colleague, man. Either way, I'm getting a W. Doesn't matter if it's a stoppage or it's by decision. I really want to say that I'm getting my hand raised no matter what. But I wouldn't be surprised if I see a stoppage. But again, I don't know. I don't know how tough he is. You know, like I said, I never like I've seen. I think his pro debut, he fought a guy named Dwayne Hallman, and Dwayne Hallman at that time was kind of training with us at Tiger Showman's, so I kind of know Dwayne a little bit. But a couple of my teammates actually they know of Anthony Dill. I think they've seen a couple of his fights. So like again, I think that's another thing that another advantage that I might have is where my teammates have seen him. They kind of told me some things, you know, where I don't think Anthony Dill has really seen me in person. Like I think it's one thing to see maybe clips of me, but to see how I fight in person, I think that's a different story.
Understandable. Now, before I let you go, I want to leave the floor to you to thank your sponsors or coaches, team, anyone else you got. Obviously, the tune-up crew. The floor is yours, brother.
All right, man. First off, I actually want to thank you for this opportunity. Like we talked about,
My
you
pleasure.
know, saying as fighters, again, we need fans, but we also need media. You're the guys that are giving this the spotlight where we can spread the word about our fights. Again, we talk about growing kickboxing, you know, this is what we need. We need the media as well, to, you know, to actually cover the sport. So I want to thank you first off. Second thing, like you said, you know, I got to thank the tune up crew. Saying they cheer me on. I love the messages, you know, that I've been getting. You know, the comments on my post. Of course, I gotta thank my teammates. You know, Julio Arce for giving me some good sparring rounds. I gotta thank my guy Jacob, even though he was helping me out for Gary Mack, but I still needed was another lefty. Saying you know not all lefties are the same. I gotta thank my man Shaq as well, another lefty that has really been helping me out. You know, more than really kind of more than with Jacob and Julio. Shaq has been a guy that has been with me with both guys because Shaq is kind of in the middle with their height. He's like 5'10", 5'11". So either way, it was still a good person to use. And then you know, like I think my coaches, you know, Shion, Ron Shulman, Coach Ray Velez, of course, always keeping it real with me, telling me if I'm doing something right or doing something wrong. And then also I got to thank my Muay Thai coach, my striking coach, Roberto. He's been really helping me out as well. And then of course, Fighters First. That's where you guys can get my merch if you want to at FightersFirst.shop. You know, check us out. You also too, we have a YouTube channel. We do shows, like I said. I have a kickboxing show called Kicking It with Tim Wheaton and myself, and also try to do an MMA show as well with my other co-host Mike Ginn, which is called the Art of MMA. So, like I say, guys, if you really want to support me, you can't make it. Get a shirt, FightersFirst.shop, and also too, I want to thank Foster Family and Chiropractic. They've been really helping me with you know with my body, making sure that I'm at tip top shape. And then last but not least, actually just started working with this person, but I want to thank my homegirl Jen. She's really been helping me out with pressure points and making sure that my body can heal.
Brandon, I appreciate your time. I will see you. Actually, I'll see you inside the ring as I'm also the announcer of Gut Check Championship Series. So I hope you have a good fight, and I will see you there, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
There he goes, Brandon Cuttino taking on Anthony Dill. It's going down at Gut Check Championship Series June 18th in Hockessin, Delaware. Doors open at 5. The first bell is at 6. Make sure to grab your tickets from Brandon in person or tune into the live stream at Fight Club Live TV at fcltv.com.